The current coronavirus pandemic has impacted people everywhere. It's helped us to see that we're connected in ways that we never realized before. But long before this crisis, Children of Promise had been working to make wholeness possible for children around the world.
Our relationships with local Children of Promise leaders in various countries have put us in a unique position to be able to respond to those most in need. Join us as we take a few minutes to talk with these leaders and learn what the coronavirus has meant for life where they live.
You'll also find out how we can support them as they care for the children and families in their communities. And after the video, you can check out our new Children of Promise website, childrenofpromise.global, to find out more.
Well, we are so delighted to be able to sit and chat with our Children of Promise director in Nicaragua today, Leslie Herrera. And so let's just get started with a little bit of an introduction. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you are, tell us a little bit about your family, and then we'll jump into some discussion about Children of Promise.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Leslie Herrera, and I'm a senior pastor for the Church of God here in Nicaragua. And I work in a city, Granada. It's a beautiful city. Um, I have two kids. I'm married, and I have two kids and a beautiful wife. We started working with Children of Promise. It's like 2 years ago, but since this thing started in Nicaragua, we have been working with them. Also, I work with another organization that is a Strong Harvest International, and I work as the field representative for Strong Harvest here in Nicaragua, and we are teaching people how to use moringa.
Yeah.
And I have been doing some videos. We're trying to encourage people to use moringa right now. So most of the time, I'm trying to be connected with people and working with people, doing conference to them around Nicaragua, and encourage people to have better health through moringa leaves.
That's wonderful. Yes, we're familiar with Strong Harvest. Shout out to Rick and Jerry Kemmer, good friends of ours
Yeah,
as well. We
yeah,
we were missionaries before coming to Children of Promise in Tanzania, in the same location where they were also
yeah.
serving as missionaries years ago. So they're good friends, and we love the work that they're
Cool.
doing with Strong Harvest as well.
Yeah.
So just this last week, you sent us some pictures of you were bagging up some things for Children of Promise kids that were going to be distributed to those children and their families. And but I know that we're in this crazy pandemic season where everything has changed. Can you just tell us a little bit about how Children of Promise has been affected through all of the COVID-19 adjustments that have had to be made, government adjustments maybe, or restrictions, and how has Children of Promise been affected through all of that?
Okay, just to let you know a little bit what's going on here in Nicaragua. The government is not taking, the putting rules and things like that. They here in Nicaragua, people are acting in the government like everything is normal. They say the COVID-19 is like a flu.
Hmm.
Never mind for that. So they don't worry just because they are in their houses. They are saying to people, go outside, everything is fine. But they stay in their houses with protection, wearing masks and gloves. But when they go in front and talk with people, they say everything is normal.
Hmm.
Go to your work. They don't want to cancel the schools, so the kids have to go to the school. And the universities are open, so the people need to go to universities and to high schools.
Hmm.
And we are just praying because we know this is something difficult, and we know we have a lot of cases. Even the government is not talking about that.
Hmm.
So what we are doing is just encourage people, to avoid places that they are too crowded, and if they go out, they clean themselves when they come back to the house. And
Hmm.
some of the people from the church, they decide don't send the kids to the school, but not everybody can do that,
Yeah.
you know. So it's hard because it's almost changed everything, but the government don't want to take the decision that they need to. because they are worried more about the economic thing,
Yeah.
because they have invested in many business. You know, in Nicaragua, they have invested in gas station and supermarkets and many things they invest. So that's why they are saying everything is normal. Don't worry about it. And it's hard to explain people, you know, because some people they are hearing the news from the government and they say everything is normal, but when they come to church we have some rules to enter to the church. Say, hey, you need to do this. Right now we start using masks, so everybody needs to use masks just to avoid. We have a space between each other. We don't give hugs, we don't shake hands, and we're trying to do that. It's hard, you know, because in our church we teach the people to give hugs
Yeah.
and to say welcome. Hey, we are happy to see you. As a pastor, I'm accustomed to do that. People comes to me, the kids comes to me and give me a hug and say, hey, pastor, how are you? And we talk and with them. But in this time, we are saying, hey, we can just, and it's hard, you know, with the kids because they just come and run to you and say, hey, pastor, and they want to give you a hug and talk to you. But we're trying to say, hey, we need to have our space. I want to protect you, but you need to protect me too. So sometimes it's very hard,
Yeah.
but we're trying to do our best. We're trying to do our best to have the church open, but also have the to, you know, take the preventive what we need to do, and follow the rules that, you know, people from outside are just telling us, just to be careful about this thing.
It's really interesting. So, in terms of the logistics of the process of Children of Promise, there aren't restrictions about receiving funds or distributing the food items or hygiene items or things like that. And schools are still open, but you're taking the initiative to establish some parameters to make sure that people stay healthy.
Yes, you know, I tell people we don't need to run on fear, but we need to be, you know, God give us the knowledge and the wisdom,
Mhm.
you know, to approach this thing. And so I'm hearing the news, but also I'm hearing the news from other people and from doctors. They have friends working in the hospitals. So the people, the doctors that are there, they're telling us this is dangerous. We have many people. In fact, even the government is saying that we have just 25 people.
Mhm.
And the real thing is we have around 1,000 people infected by this COVID-19. And the government say we have just 8 people died. But the real thing, and I was talking with some pastors because also, you know, as a pastor, I have other pastors that talk to me, and pastor from a different city. Uh, it's like maybe 1 hour from Granada. No, like 30 minutes from Granada is Masaya. And they are saying that every day, 5 people are dying because COVID-19. And the government is not saying nothing about that. So in that city, most of the church are closed, but the government say everything is okay. So we have the bank is working. Obviously, they are taking their own, you know, restrictions. They are doing their own things, trying to have people get protect. You know, you go to the bank and they have some restrictions. You go to the grocery stores and they have their own restriction too. But you know, as a pastor and working with Children of Promise, most of the time we have some ladies from the church that they go and buy everything for the kids every month. They do that, but this month we decide to do it by ourselves because I don't want to expose, you know, people to go when it's too crowded. And so what we do, we have some friends from a different church that they have a place that they sell some groceries. So I contact them so they can, most of the things that we provide to the people, to the kids, like rice and sugar and those things, they have it. So I talk to them if they can bring it to the house, and they agree. So we pay a little bit more, but we didn't go to the market. So
Mhm.
they bring us most of the things, and the rest of the things that they don't have, I went to the grocery store that is not too crowded. So I went with one of the youth from the church, and we buy all the items, and then I send you the picture when we were packing everything. and I distribute to the kids on Sunday, and then I travel to the other city that is Hinotepe. It's like 1 hour away from Granada, and we travel to give the food to the other kids that we have.
That's great. We love seeing those pictures and hearing the reports, and it's wonderful to hear that even though there are some added complications with the pandemic, it hasn't stopped you from being able to continue in the ministry with Children of Promise and making sure that the kids are cared for. That's really great news. Can you
Yes, you know,
tell us?
so
Oh, did you want to say something else?
obviously it's it's hard, but we see how Children of Promise can provide something good in these difficult times.
Yeah. So you said that you've been working with Children of Promise for about 2 years. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're pretty new too. We're just coming up on our first year in August, so we're still learning, and it sounds like you're still learning as well. But um, we have just been blown away as we've met with directors and traveled a little bit um, about what good can be accomplished through ministries like Children of Promise, ensuring that kids have the food that they need, the education that they need, that gives them hope and introduces them to a life of wholeness with Christ. And um, it's just been so encouraging for us to be in our seat here in the United States and to have the opportunity to talk with people like you and to see how the ministry is taking root there. What's been your experience in these last 2 years? What do you feel like is the blessing of Children of Promise, or how is it impacting the families in the communities where kids are being sponsored?
Well, for us, you know, for us, the benefit is not just about food and education. You know, for me as a pastor, there are other organizations that provide food and education to the kids.
Mm,
So what Children of Promise can offer something different, and that's for me the most exciting thing, is because we are offering a different uh, expectation and you know, the kids can have a different opportunity because we are offering Jesus to them,
mm,
and that's the most important thing, because you know many kids come to different organizations that they provide education, so the kids have better education, and we think, well, if they have better education they can have a better future. If we provide food they can have their you know, they can have what they need and they can have better future. But if we don't add Jesus, you
mm,
know, to that, we will have people that have access to earn more money and have more things, but in the future they will be empty.
mm,
So for me, the good thing of Children of Promise, we provide Jesus, and that's the thing that can change everything because they can dream. You know, I dream with them, and I say you can do it better because He got it with you. Everything is possible. You know, it's not just about have good grades or have the uniforms or the backpack or have the food every month. Every time that you know, we give the food, we encourage them to be grateful and pray and just know that people that don't know them just by pictures decide to sponsor them, and we have that connection that God created. So it's so exciting when I have kids coming and ask, hey, I would like to be part of Children of Promise. And I say, okay, you need to continue coming to church because I don't want to sponsor kids that they just come once in a while.
yeah.
And we're, you know, with that, because the thing is, I say Children of Promise is just the connection. It can be the excuse that God is using
Mm,
to touch your life. And
mm.
so for us, it's just an opportunity the kids have to know better Jesus and know, discover their purpose. And that's exciting for me.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
the thing this is the thing that I love so much about Children of Promise that sets us apart is
Mm,
the relationships that are built between the local church and the children in the community, whether the kids are a part of families that come to the church or children in the community, that the relationships that are where the kids are nurtured in their love for Jesus because of the adults who love them and care for them in the church. It's so beautiful and such a beautiful picture of the body of Christ.
You've spoken it so well, Leslie. I was just thinking we need to have you come to the United States and speak to churches on our behalf.
One day.
Well, we were just talking a little earlier that we had planned to come and visit you in June, and we've had to postpone that because of travel restrictions and things like that on our end. But we'd be so excited to come and see this firsthand. Have you been a part of any of the Children of Promise folks from here in the United States coming to visit the children in Nicaragua?
Yes, in the past, as I told you, like every time since I learned English, I start working at the church, helping with the teams come. And so every time the Children of Promise come, Paul Maxfield came. So every time that they came to Nicaragua, I helped them, doing translating them or doing something with them with the interviews or working with the kids in different things. So I have been working with the teams for Children of Promise.
Well, if we're when we reschedule our visit to Nicaragua, we hope to bring some of the sponsors of some of the Nicaraguan children. What would you want to say to sponsors who are thinking about their kids in Nicaragua and praying for them? What would you, if you were sitting with them right now as you're sitting with us, what would you want to say to them, to those sponsors?
Well, I think this is a great opportunity that the kids are always saying, because I'm translating the letters and they say, I hope to know you one day in person. I hope to know you one day in person. And I know this will be really excited for the kids and also a challenge for them because they will know in person somebody that is investing in them. And people need to understand this. And this happened to me. Somebody believed in me and somebody invest in my life. And the way I'm acting is because of my parents, but other people also that invest in me and say, hey, you can do it. And I think as a sponsors, if you can come to Nicaragua and talk to the kids and say, hey, I believe in you.
Mm.
I trust you. I know you can do better. I know you can have a better future if you, trust God and you put your effort and you can dream. You can do bigger things. And that's amazing because kids need to hear that. Because as a pastor, I can talk to them, but it's good when we find out other people trusting us and they, they receive the things and they are excited, they are grateful. But when they see persons, people talking to them and say, hey, I believe in you, because they don't hear that like every day. Most of the kids here in Nicaragua, their parents don't come to church. They hear good words at the church. They hear words of encouragement just when we say, hey, you can do it better. But in their houses, their parents don't go to church. They struggle with many things. But I think the experience that the kids can have, it can really change their life and inspire them to be better. So I encourage all the sponsors that have kids in Nicaragua, just come here. You will enjoy the country, but most of the better thing, you will enjoy the time with the kids here.
Yeah, that's so great to hear. How many kids are sponsored in Nicaragua right now? Can you tell us that number?
We have 26 kids right now.
Great. Well, we will eagerly look for a time when we can reschedule that trip to come and spend some time sitting with those children and talking to them and hearing about their dreams for their futures and seeing how Children of Promise is affecting their lives for good and introducing them to Jesus as well, which, as you mentioned, it's just the most important part. So did you want to ask any other questions, or do you have any questions for us?
No.
Well, we've just, it's been delightful to talk to you. We've traded emails and we've sent messages back and forth on WhatsApp and never even talked face to face. This is the very first time, and we've instantly liked you and can't wait to come and spend some time with you and your lovely family. And we'll look forward to doing that as soon as we can.
Yeah, we're praying for that and keep praying for us, keep praying for Nicaragua, and the government can make the decision to protect families and to protect the kids, and keep praying that God can give us the wisdom and be a light in these dark times, you know, because people desperately need Jesus, need hope, and, you know, besides food, because everybody needs food, they need hope, and that's what we're trying to give to the kids every time we have them. And right now we just have 2 meetings at the church,
Mm.
and so we have it Sunday, and the kids comes and we try to inspire them so they can share something with their families. We pray for them, we pray with them, and we just want to be the light in these dark times. So keep praying for us.
Yeah, definitely we will.
Give our love and greetings to the church, and especially the children and the volunteers who work with you and your wife in Children of Promise. We're so grateful for all of the ways that you're investing in those precious children.